Well, well, well. If it isn't ThursdAGE, for those of you tuning in, ThursdAGE is a program devoted to it's really devoted to everything adventure game engine, hence the age. And today's show, we've got a lot of stuff to talk about. And I'll tell you what, if you're hanging out, you're listening to this program, if you're just sitting on a podcast and you're like, I've got a lot of stuff to talk about, almost too much stuff to talk about, there's one person that you call. I'll let you in on who that is in just a moment. But hey, look who's here. Mark, good to see you. Duke, you as well. Brian, I'm presuming I sound all right, folks, yeah? Let me know in the chat. And yeah, so it's I think I'd call it a smorgasbord, I don't, whatever that word is. You know, it's like a golden corral. Just everything, except, you know, it tastes good. Oh, look at this. Okay, so Maliloki? Is that right? I apologize in advance but thank you very much. Duke says I sound lovely. The reason I sound lovely is because it is, oh, nice, Mark. Well, we'll be sure to keep it dinner prep friendly. Like I was saying, if you're sitting on a podcast and you're like, hey, I've got to talk about a lot of stuff, but I don't know if I can do it alone, there's one person that you call. And I'll make sure everyone has their number. That person is my good friend, Ray LeBeau. Hey, friend.
Hello, everybody. Hi, Troy.
Thank you so much for joining today. We do have a lot to talk about, not the least of which is you have a new release.
I do.
Through the Age Creators Alliance.
That's me. Well, that whole thing's not me, but...
It's all you, friend.
Ooh.
Yeah, believe me. But oh, hey, Peter R. Scott Brooks. Good evening to you, friend. Stan says, I'm sorry. Did I miss your call? You know, Stan, I call you when there's sumo news to be discussed. No, I call Stan all the time. But for today, for ThursdAGE, for the fact that you have a new release, you have a pending sale. Can I say, friend, that tomorrow launches the Vitath Adventure Pass, where people can pick up releases prior to this to the latest for 30% off, get the whole kit and caboodle, and get a good discount on it. And you are the very first adventure or Age Creators Alliance adventures to be sold on sale. You're the very first person. Yeah, you are a historical figure. Very, very excited about that.
Glad we could be here for it.
Look at that guy. What's that kitty's name?
This is Chris.
Chris.
He's being very helpful on stream today.
No. Yeah, exactly. They like to help. So very excited to hear more about the new release. We do have a couple of things cooking. We might as well dive into that and then open up. We'll get into the Vitath Adventures number 4, right? Is it number 4?
That's right.
Awesome. Historical reign, yeah. So here's what's cooking. We've got a very special episode of ThursdAGE coming next week. We are bringing on our friends from Abraxas Precipice. Ooh. They are celebrating 3 years of streaming.
Wow, love that.
I know. Yeah, me too. I really do. And what's exciting is we're going to have members of the cast. We'll do some, I've been, looking at prior episodes and just sort of getting into it. But what's exciting, and in addition to that, if that wasn't exciting enough, Jacob Mundell has been a regular guest on the stream. Jacob was Eric from season 5 of The Expanse.
Wow, really?
Yeah. Hey, that's Greg, fun. Good to see you. Howdy to you. Yeah, really looking forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun. It'll be right here We'll do some giveaways. We'll look at some past streams and just generally have a good time. I'm really looking forward to that. Jacob Mundell is also a stand-up comedian, actor, etc. So it's going to be a blast. And that'll be super, super fun. That's next week. But I do want to tip people off to something that you heard it here first. But on Monday, we release the next installment of the Trades of the Expanse called Entertainer. Yeah. I'm stoked. You
can now play Troy in the Expanse.
That's right. That's exactly right. I'm trying to pull up the cover here because it is something else. Let's see. Grace says, are there any chances to get any of us who are willing to participate in stream games, even if vetted? Listen to this. So we might as well jump into the next topic. The Entertainer becomes available on Monday. You can pick it up. It'll be $5.99, like the other trades. It's fantastic. You will love it. You will buy it, and you will enjoy it. So more to come on that. There are people out there in the world, VIPers, that have received it already, and you may pick up a stream or two or some talk as they share what they've learned and what they see. So keep your eyes peeled for that, and we'll certainly share in social media as well. But let's talk about what's in the tank. So the Atomic Think Tank, gangbusters. It is hopping. There's so much going on. And we are in the phase right now the way we launched it is we took the methodology was build the plane while you fly it. What could go wrong?
What could go wrong?
Yeah, that's right. Duke says you will enjoy it. This is negotiable. It is not. Yeah. What could go wrong? Well, it is in sort of in the best tradition of TTRPG gamers, we put together the general shape of things, and we've talked about that a few times on ThursdAGE. But part of what the missing ingredient to try to go in and sort of create the perfect system and then add TTRPG, enthusiasts is a recipe for real disaster.
We like taking systems apart.
That's absolutely right. To dismantle and remantle and the whole thing. And so we are spending the time now to look at what the individual needs are for each of the lines and each of the subsets or facets of the community, like the freebooters or the Age Creators Alliance or the third-party publishers for Mutants and Masterminds, or there is a Tempo. You just missed the announcement, I think, but I will say, because it's you, I will tell you there is a new Trades of the Expanse Entertainer coming out on Monday. So, yeah, not quite out yet, but will be soon. And you can get your hands on it and entertain the world. The think tank is just really lent itself well to all the needs and the things that we've got to do. And part of what we're talking about now is putting together, there's a few different programs. One is I want to devote one program a month of ThursdAGE to a community host. Now I'll be here. I will be here in the background, and I will be producing and helping and all of that. But I will work with the community member to create the show of their dreams. So if you are a fan of, you want to sit down and you want to just nerd out about the Expanse with Ian, or you want to run some kind of an actual play, or you want whatever it is, we're going to make space for that once a month for ThursdAGE. And really it's that's I don't want to put too many boundaries or rules or sort of expectations outside of the fact that it's going to be a space where people can do what they want to do within reason. But
whatever, man. Whatever you want to do.
Whatever you want to do. To the degree that it deals with age, and then it's not, onerous or offensive. But I open that up. We'll open that up to everybody. And so maybe you want to, here's my disembodied voice. Maybe you want to be disembodied and you want to show people how to stat something up, or you want to create an encounter, or you want to bring a bunch of your favorite creators, get on a stream and just do something fun. Showcase your latest homebrew adventure. Talk about how you've taken a bit from Blue Rose and added it to Fantasy Age, and then rolled it into the Expanse. And this is going to be that opportunity. And I'm really, really looking. That's right. Yeah, Stan says it's like cable access for the Age system. Yes, Goddess Kring. Yes, absolutely. And here's the thing. For Mutants and Masterminds, we've got some peripheral programs that we do, but one of the things that a person who plays Mutants and Masterminds loves to do is to nice, Gray. Well, yeah, I figured this would be right in your wheelhouse, Gray. And it's certainly an opportunity for you to dive in and have some fun, and call the shots. And I'll be here to facilitate that to the best of my ability. But one of the things that people love from Mutants and Masterminds is the hero that they create, and the creativity and the links and the backstory and all of that. And one of the tropes, some classic kind of TTRPG tropes of yes, please tell me about your character. I love it. And so we do the drafting board, which is an opportunity for people to drafting table rather, to share that aspect of Mutants Masterminds. It's just so deeply tied into the experience that I wanted to celebrate it. And that is one of the kind of special moments that we do for Mutants Masterminds. And I want to find that same kind of vibe for ThursdAGE and fans of the adventure game engine. Yeah, looking forward to that. So if you've got ideas, send a note to, we'll have kind of an official process worked out, like a form to fill out, etc. But if you've got an idea you're sitting on right now, and it doesn't have to be, it doesn't even have to be a complete idea, just a sort of a notion or a vibe or an end result that you want to kind of accomplish, send a note to letsplay@greenronin.com, and then we'll start to negotiate and figure that out. I'd love to get something ready to go. We're already mid-month now. I can't even believe it. So we're headlong into summer. I'd love to kick this off in June. Stan, you would always be welcome. Stan does have ideas. So that's one notion. But when it comes to the think tank, there are several other facets. Any news for Tempo asks, any news for the Into the Wilds write-in book? Nothing to share today, but I have taken note of your question and will research and get back to you, or lie. But as it looks to Devious says you're handsome. Yeah. Yes. Our handsomest of guests. So the another aspect of the think tank, for instance, for folks like you, my friend, I want to create a space that is a page devoted just to your work, where you can talk about your process, share art, share other things, whatever it is that you would like to share, and also just give, having walked with you through some of your past releases in the Vitath Adventures space, so much work goes into it that it's almost a shame that there isn't more opportunity for you to talk about process or share a bit, or even just be there to see when someone else is going through a thing that you went through and go, hey, let me tell you a thing or two, just to kind of help people sort of talk themselves off of the ledge. And now, why don't we do this? Cool. As an example of that, we were talking about Vitath Adventures number 4, and this has been kind of a a bit of war. Yeah, there you go. This has been, you mentioned that this was, I don't know if I want to use the word challenging, but it's been a long time coming. Talk
Very
a little
long
bit
time.
about it. Yeah, talk about it.
I mean, I started writing fantasy age stuff. Goodness, I think when Green Ronin still had forums, because I had heard
Boy,
that there was going to be sort of like something like the Age Creators Alliance a long time ago.
yeah,
So I wanted to be ready. And so I actually have quite a few adventures written and several of them tested. Um, but beyond that, I mean, like right now, much of them are in a wiki somewhere, um, just as like raw text. So I have to. Formatting is a big part of what is a big part of the very sexy and exciting work of writing for a role
right.
playing game. At least when you're doing the whole thing yourself. Uh, when you're not the person who is, of course, like paid to do that part. Um, in which case it is very sexy and very exciting, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
That's
Those
right.
folks, those folks earn their paychecks, and now I see why. Um, but I wrote this adventure years ago, and I tested it with a group of players, and they approached the adventure in such a way that I realized that if I wanted to accommodate playstyles like that, it was not just up to snuff. So, the adventure changed quite a bit, and I'm very happy with how it turned out.
Okay,
Um,
so talk to me about what did you find that it was really a matter of? Did you find any sort of theming when you create what you're creating and then you give it to players to sort of run it through the playground, if you will? And
mhm.
do you find that there are certain things that come up regularly, or is it really adventure by adventure? They just kind of find the pieces, or discover a hole or a soft spot, and you've got to kind of bridge the deltas. Like, what's that? What's that like?
I did tell these players to come in and play the adventure, but don't feel afraid to like break stuff because I did want
Uh-huh.
the adventure to sort of be able to accommodate folks who go off the script and can
Yeah,
still complete it and still have a satisfying experience.
sure.
I would definitely say that there's not a lot of common threads besides. Um, well, I think the one common thread will always be that your players are smarter than you. And what I
Yeah.
mean by that is that there are five people sitting across the table from you. Between those five people, they will think of something that you did not.
Absolutely, and it'll probably change and sort of evolve, as those people
Mhm.
change and as
Oh,
new
yeah.
people play. But so in the tradition of adventure game engine games, when what is the? Did you come from at this from a like I've got to have a hook or I've got to have a widget or a thing that sort of defines Vitaeth Adventures?
For this one, I kind of ended up going in the direction of an idea for the next adventure in this series just sort of popped into my head, and I started writing it, and I fell in love with it, and I decided to keep going with it because it was an idea. I
Yeah,
needed to
yeah,
get something. I wanted to get something down, and I made the best of it.
yeah.
Um, the first one, this is the second adventure in a series I'm calling Greed's Resurrection, which is
Okay.
currently planned to be 10 parts. Um,
Wow.
this this is part two. The first adventure was kind of a dungeon crawl after a little bit of role play, and
And
then
that the name of
this
that one
one,
was
that one was number two, Delve of the
okay. Number two.
12.
Got you. Delve of the 12 right here. Yeah, gotcha.
That's right. Um, I might actually be going back. I'm considering going back and revamping that one just because you know, uh, the quality between the quality of my writing and my adventure design, I think, has gotten at least more to my satisfaction with each volume. So then, of course, I end up looking at some of those old ones like,
Not
what was it?
unusual. Yeah. I
What was
mean,
I doing?
absolutely. Yeah. And it is no matter there's so many endeavors in the world where you start out and you're like, I've done it. And then
Hmm.
you start to master that and you go back and go, oh yeah. That first one isn't quite doesn't quite stand in the face of my newly built skill mastery of
Hmm.
this, process. All right, 34 pages. In this one, let's see. I just want to say so an adventure of infiltration, stealth, charm, and surprises. This adventure is suitable for a party of 3 to 5 heroes, levels 1 through 4. 7 new adversaries, including gladiators, a young chimera, and a skilled sniper. Nice. What's a sniper like in this world? Is it
Well, in this very particular case, I definitely had them use some of the advanced firearms from the Fantasy Age companion.
ooh, nice.
Because there is a sort of a setting within the setting where those do exist.
Nice.
They're just
Okay.
incredibly expensive for most people.
Learn Music says, could you give a brief description of hard mode, please?
Oh, sure. Hard mode is this was something that I wanted to do to give the adventures just a little bit more what's the word? Marketability maybe, or at least like uh give an adventure that could be run for heroes between levels 1 and 4, but like if your group was looking for a challenge, or your group is all 4th level characters, that this could still, give them a run for their money.
Nice.
Hard mode is pretty straightforward, and actually I think I actually Troy, if you click the preview, I don't know if it'll show you the preview. It should show the first 3
Yeah.
pages, like 3 to 9.
Let me
Um,
get
it's
to
got the
the
details for it in there.
um
But it's really just hard mode is just you take the adventure, you change a handful of numbers, and in the back of the book where the appendix is, yeah, right there in the bottom right of that first page there. Uh,
oh,
you just
oops.
increase all your target numbers by 1. If it's an
Oh, here we go, right
the
here.
sec
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's just you just make a minor adjustment that makes the whole thing feel just a bit trickier. Um, Target numbers are increased by 1. If it is a moderate or higher threat adventure, which will not apply to this adventure, but it will apply to future adventures, success thresholds for advanced tests and challenge tests increased by 3. Um, there are stat blocks that are labeled hard mode, and if you have enemies showing up in the adventure, and if you're using the enemies from the adventure, you use the hard mode versions. And everybody gets 400 extra experience at the end if you complete the whole thing on hard mode.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, yeah, it is there for you. Learn Music in the preview. You can snag that and check it out. I let's see. A Disembodied Voice says, any future ideas for higher level adventures in the future? I currently have a party
Oh,
of level 7, and I'm trying to find some side quests for them to do.
well, here, let me take a look at my spreadsheet. Uh,
Yeah.
Let's see. I've got these planned out so that every adventure should give you 1,000 experience. So you'll have a fairly regular, what's the word? Schedule of how quickly you're going to level up. Um, in Fantasy Age, believe in second edition, it holds that from levels 1 to 6, it takes 2,000 experience to level up. So for all of these, it'll take you 2 adventures to level up. Um, when you hit level 6, I think all the way to 12, it then takes 3,000 experience. So it'll take you 3 adventures to level up. And then after that, it takes you 4 adventures to level up. Um, and so we're going to hit the moderate threat adventures by Bateoth Adventures number 9. Oh, that's a fun one. I've got that one planned out. I actually did test that one and run that and written that one already. That one also needs some art. Um, it's a hot springs adventure.
Hey, nice.
It's supposed to be sort of like a moderate threat but fairly low stakes adventure. I was specifically requested that we have sort of more like a cozy adventure.
Nice. All right. Well, so I
But
like that. Now, when you get those requests, are you getting those? How are they getting to you? What's that? What's that?
well, requests for adventures. That one actually came from basically.
Fashion.
I've got a
Sometimes
couple
just
pools of
oh,
hmm? Everything all
no, go
right.
for it. Sorry, I'm a
Oh,
little. I got a little skip in the internet, but I'm back.
gotcha. Oh, well, I've got a pool of people here in my hometown who are happy to help me out if I put a call out for playtesters. This adventure actually I put out recently. I got I think a total of 3 groups of people to test it out. One group tested it years ago, and then I had 2 groups of people help me test it out in the same day. Um, had one
Oh,
of
and
them
this
run it in hard mode, actually.
very fun. Well, so when you are at the testing phase, let's say, and there are no
Mhm.
other mitigating factors like life or work or food and sleep and stuff. When
When
you're
planets
at
align.
yeah, exactly, all the planets are aligned, and you are at that testing phase. How many hours roughly do you think, or how far along percentage wise are you in the process? Is it like 70%?
When I'm getting a game in front of folks and testing it, I'm probably I think my process has been changing on it lately, because I think for most of it, it's been like 50% done because I just put it down like on a wiki page. Because when I was writing a lot of these adventures, I did not have access to the templates that are so helpful for the
Yes,
Age Creators
right.
Alliance now.
Yeah, you did.
Now that
Yeah,
I've got those, I start. Now that I've got those, I can plug those in. So my adventure will be more like 70 to 80% finished before I'm getting it in front of people. Um, just in case I want to change things, and if anything needs to change drastically. Uh,
yeah. From the perspective of as a developer and thinking about the role of the GM, do you create hooks and things for the GM to kind of ratchet or move things around, or like how do you manage that sort of relationship in sort of in the texts?
in the text, I do have a quick section near the front, a couple of quick sections at the front of the adventure. The first one's the adventure summary that just tells the GM everything that's going to happen. Um, I give some background, and then I
Yeah,
have a section for getting started.
yeah,
And I usually just roll out like, here's a couple of premises to help the players sort of smoothly slide into the adventure. I'm writing most of these adventures assuming that the players are members of of sort of like the good guys, the good guy organization. Well, one of the good
fair
guy
enough.
organizations,
Yeah.
the emissaries of convergence, because I put a lot of work into them and a lot of thought into them, so they're the most developed.
Now,
Uh,
the emissaries of the convergence. What is that?
mhm.
Is that the kind of an epic moment in time in this world, or what is that?
It is. In the lore of the world, the Emissaries of Convergence are an organization that was started by um, a party of adventurers who saved the world.
Oh,
Uh, they convinced everybody to stop fighting the Great Planar War that was being fought everywhere. And I mean, like, everywhere it was being fought um, in such a way that it was causing planar instability. So they convinced everybody that if we don't stop fighting, there's nothing left for us to fight. Um,
yeah, yeah.
there were other heroes who took part, but these folks got all the credit. Um, they use and as sort of a reward, some of the powers that be elevated them to the status of hero gods, essentially making them demigods, which sort of helped them continue doing what they were doing, but also put sort of like a leash on them because the divine wants to, you know, well, that's divine politics. We don't need to get into that. But
Yeah, yeah.
these demigods refurbished a city, named it Convergence, and started an organization to try and continue the work that they left off
I
of
see.
just making sure that the world does not succumb to fighting. So they are primarily peacemaking, um, and that usually means a lot. That means a lot of diplomacy. That means a lot
Oh,
of
sure.
international adventures. They shuttle you around the world to keep things safe and maintain relationships with other major organizations um, and so their main goal is de-escalation.
I like it. I love a game of diplomacy. I love kind of palace intrigue and sort of
If you
international stuff. Yeah, I
if
mean,
yeah, if you know Blue Rose, they're very much like the envoys.
aha, yes, yeah,
uh,
one of my favorite, one of my favorite
the
classes. Yeah,
Sovereign's finest, I think they're also called.
very cool. Okay, well, so now that's very interesting. So, um, do you have? So, if someone's coming into this, of course, tomorrow's going to be that big sale, and they're going to want to pick up
Mhm.
every single thing. But where will they
Absolutely, please,
look?
thank you.
Is there a one shot sort of, or is the first adventure just? what can people do to like have a like? Let's say this. Let's say I was like,
Mhm.
hey, let's run one. Just on a day sometime when you had time and invite some people to come play. What would you run?
Ooh, honestly, I would probably run number 3,
Okay.
in the belly of the whale hold. It's I'm proud of the first 2, and I think that I'm going to keep them there, and I'm going to try my best to not uproot, to just, like, keep looking back at my old adventures and being like, "I don't like this anymore. I'm
Right,
going to
right,
give
right,
it
right.
better maps, and I'm going to give it better formatting," because I'll never stop. I'll be stuck with all these adventures, and I keep revamping them, and I gotta write new ones. So, um I would say that probably that I'm very proud with how 3 ended up. It's got a nice little story. It's got a lot of characters. It's very colorful. It's got a lot of the things that the emissaries do best. Um, so you've got tensions that are high, and you've got to keep people from hurting each other. You've got a dungeon crawl dealing with ancient magical artifacts and extraplanar tyrants, or well, at least one. Um, Spoilers. Uh, but oh, and this one's also got some really excellent art by by my good friend Leave Weil, who does a lot of excellent work.
Nice. Now, are they
They did the
from?
arts for they did the art for the final boss.
I see. Is it Daniel or is it Miniature Giant
Ooh,
Space Hamster
that
Games?
is those folks. Daniel Comerci actually did the arts that is on the cover there,
Okay, great.
and a couple of other sort of splash arts that I sprinkled in throughout. Um, just had some lovely pieces of like underground adventures, and there was a little bit in there. Um, let's see. Oh, hey, that's my guy. That's the
Nice.
quest giver for this one. Cot Oliver. I like him very much.
Very
Let's see.
cool.
He is one of the emissary peacemakers, or peace guard, pardon me, dealing with local security. Let's
Oh,
see.
look at
Oh,
this
and that,
cartography.
yeah, that cartography is done by the lovely folks at. I think I just realized a little while ago I was pronouncing their name wrong this whole time. Jepeku. Um,
Oh, yeah,
they
yeah.
do, yeah, they do lovely work. Even if you're just
Gorgeous.
buying like 1 or 2 maps every now and then, like they don't miss. They're very colorful. They're very fun. They're very big.
Yeah, some
Uh,
depth in there as well. It's
yeah,
very, very attractive.
that map has a lot of variations on it.
All right, so you have
Yeah, so
who's this
this one,
pooch?
you've got K Rilbon. K Rilbon is the local leader of the Rilbon Guard, who is actually a knightly order that is run by one of those demigods that I mentioned.
I
Um,
see.
and they also do peacekeeping around Convergence and the surrounding region. And down there is Gasis, the a water elemental from the Eldivan rainforest.
I love
And
it.
when you find them, they're not doing so hot right now. But if you do your most emissary work, they could be, maybe not friends, but respectful colleagues by the end of it.
Yeah, yeah. Diplomatic buddies. Yeah,
But
yeah. I
you
dig
may
that.
have to stop them from butting their heads once or a couple of times in the adventure.
Very fun. So here's a question.
Yes.
Tempo asks: is the setting more idealistic than Aldea from Blue Rose?
Honestly, I think I'd be hard pressed to be more idealistic than Aldea. Um, I try to emulate Blue Rose quite a bit because I really like the Blue Rose setting. Um,
Yeah.
this is definitely one of the things that I set out with, and that I try and keep in the back of my mind when I'm writing these adventures, is that I want to create a world that you want to save.
Got
Um,
you.
so it's got a lot of color. It's got a lot of fun. It's got a lot of. The chapter in my home game we just finished was basically. I mean, we based it off of a Sonic game that I'm very proud of, very fond of, Sonic Riders, a racing game. It was a chapter all about racing on the wind,
Okay.
and then there were dragons that were eating the magic, and then that's not ideal, but they handled it.
No.
They figured it out. Uh, so I want it to be a world that is colorful and has got a lot of hope in it.
Yeah.
With the understanding that there is also very real evil here. Um, and that, generally evil's not going to win here, but that's really going to be more up to you than it is up to me.
I love that. Now, Stan says something that, Stan, of course, being a
Uh-huh.
creator who's been creating, I mean, he for some time now, he's a TTRPG luminary. Says, "Let your old work be. Move on to new stuff. Trust me on this."
But Stan, I've got this really pretty map that'll work with number two. Uh, but I am gonna have to rewrite the whole game's flow just because the map is totally different. But it's
Right.
fine. Just this one thing.
And just a cascading, then from 10, it would be 20, various books or
I might have to
adventures.
cut a couple of rooms. I might have to change some text. I might have to throw out all of the formatting I did. But whatever, man, it's fine.
Yeah, it sounds like you smell what Stan's stepping in, basically saying, yeah, that's what lies ahead is a lot more of
Mhm.
that. Okay, amazing. So hold on one quick second. So how long is in this particular related to this question? How long
Mhm.
is in the belly of the whale hold like as an adventure? Is it like
This adventure is supposed to take somewhere between 4 and 5 hours to complete.
uh,
Ideally, you complete it in a good solid gaming session.
Stan says you're right. Tear it all down and start from scratch. So pretty typical. So pretty standard. So it's not like it's some unknown experience. Like the timing is about right. Would you ever want to run a one shot? For folks,
Hmm.
maybe even do a
Oh,
stream.
absolutely, I'd love that. Um,
Nice.
I've not
Okay.
I've not streamed many games before, but I'm sure I could figure it out. I
Well,
mean, I've done a lot of games online before, but
yeah. Well, so here's what I will say.
Mhm.
Folks, if you are hanging out and you're like, I really want to give this world a spin, send a note to Let's Play at Green Ronin. And here's what I will promise you. Well, I do want to play. I think I would really enjoy that quite a bit. But boy, we are lousy with actual plays. Like we've really kind of worked out some of the kinks, and so we can support that. And maybe we
Gotcha.
do it in the think tank and
Ooh,
play around with that. Yeah. We'll
yeah.
we'll noodle on it, but I know that I bet we'll have a full. If we were to say, even post into the think tank, hey, who would like to before we finished? Yeah, see, already people are like, yes, me. Yeah,
Oh,
so
dude.
yeah, let's think about that, and at a time that works best for your schedule. No pressure. We want it to be an enjoyable experience and not sort of something that that becomes too much work,
Mhm.
but yeah, I'm compelled. I want to play, and I think it'd be a nice fun stream actual play to kind of do on maybe on a weekend or whatever.
Yeah, I think that could be fun.
Nice, very nice. That is awesome. Okay, and so hang on one quick second. I was going to open up the think tank and pull something up. So in the think tank, we've got a couple different. Like I did talk about the fact that I want to build out some pages for people who are doing Age Creators Alliance stuff. I'm going to put you on the spot just because I'm very curious as
Okay.
to your thoughts on that. What is the utility and usefulness in that idea? Does that strike you as something? Does it strike you as oh gosh, another thing I have to manage, or does it seem like a good space for you to, what do you think about that? And be as honest as as you'd
Sure.
like.
In my case, I can't say that this is for works for everybody, but I get very excited about the things that I write. So I often will have the urge to share the stuff that I'm working on with other folks. Um, which
Nice.
sometimes means spoilers. But if you don't mind that, then it can be fun. So at least for me, having a place where I can sort of like post some work in progress stuff, maybe a couple of screenshots, or
Yeah.
maybe some of my thought processes. I personally think I would have a lot of fun with that.
And so
Um,
what I'm envisioning as well is being able to open up things like polls and to be able to say do comparative analyses between sort of versions of your texts and then also recruit people for playtests and that kind of a
Gotcha.
thing.
Yeah,
I have
yeah.
another idea. I want to run by you. You like me are a a patron of the arts. You appreciate artists. You seek them out and work with them, and and pay for the privilege. And so I like that. That's the kind of ecosystem I think that just keeps the world spinning in the right direction. What would you say to a kind of marketplace, a dedicated space for people who are artists to come and share and be
Yeah.
available for commissions and that kind of stuff?
I think that's an excellent idea. Uh,
Yeah.
I also think that it is worth pointing out that, especially for the Age Creators Alliance folks who maybe don't have a lot of money, because you should absolutely be paying these artists what they're worth.
Yes.
They've taken the time. They've cultivated a skill and a muscle that takes years for them to reach the level that you are hoping to purchase. So, um, like the piece that I commissioned for number three, um, that one cost me, I believe, about 100. I want to say $120. Um, and that was and it's because it was like it was full body, it was full color,
Yeah.
it was with simple shading. um they did an excellent job. They really knocked it out of the park. I really love it. And that's Leavely Wild, by the way, at bonyfish.net. Check
There
them
you
out.
go.
They do excellent work. But oh shoot, where was I going with that?
Well, yeah, we were talking about just having kind of the. So what I'd love to kind of incorporate is a space for commissions where people can commission, and then a further kind of fine tuning for people who are cartographers or
Mhm,
people who are that specialize in a type or a style of something. Maybe they're more the
mhm.
magic item
Gotcha.
artists or that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
What would be from your vantage point? What do you think? Even people who could do editing or a sensitivity pass,
Mm.
or and understanding that we are people aren't rich, by any stretch. How would you like to see that space operate in the way that's most useful for creators?
Goodness. I'm not 100% familiar with how Mighty works, but or Goofy Cartoonists absolutely stand.
That's right.
Um, Places where we could send links to portfolios.
Yeah.
We just want like a collections of links that have maybe got examples of work with them, um, and that
Oh,
of
that's a
course
good point. Yeah.
the artist is happy to share and gives express permission for, which I'm sure many of
Absolutely.
them
Yeah.
absolutely would love to, or at least way that you maybe like a link tree that they could share. Um, and I remembered now, one of the something I did want to say is that I would like to give permission to the folks who are Age Creators Alliance folks to not you do not have to include art in your adventure, or
A really
even in
fair
your setting
point.
book.
Yeah.
You don't have to. It will make it look nicer, and and art can help you communicate maybe some aspects of your work that words will maybe not reach. But there's also things like stock art, which you can find on Drive Through RPG. I've been personally saving a lot of artists who work there, who you can just buy a piece of work from them for like $2.50. Some people do bigger ones. Some people do bundles. Like I think Daniel Comerci actually was $5 for 3 pieces of art that you could use in one adventure.
Oh, and they
Um,
do all kinds of sets, pieces,
mhm.
just of themed kits, kind of stuff. Yeah, really good stuff.
Yeah, stock art, you really have to kind of find the thing that you're looking for, or that lets, especially like me, who actually for Vitae Adventure number four, right there, I did buy a bit of stock art for that adventure. There's a chimera in the adventure, and I found a piece that looked like it sort of fit the colorful vibe, so I got it in there. Um, and you got to make sure that if you are going to use art, even stock art, you got to give credit. And there's
Absolutely.
space for it in the template. You can just put it up there in the front. Um, some artists like Shepeku are going to have extra stipulations for you. And in fact, I'm going to have to message them here in a bit because I use one of their maps. One of their maps, maybe two of their maps. One of their maps in this adventure, and as long as, and because I'm one of their patrons and I have commercial use, I also have to make sure that like the attribution is correct and that I email
Yeah.
them about it so that they know that it's being used so they can put it in a spreadsheet if they ever wanted to like to boost to give it the signal boost of their own.
You know what? I think the other thing that this is unearthing for me is the need to really establish the culture of all of this.
Hmm.
That it is that we create a culture of attribution, and we create a culture of paying for services, and also opportunity for people who may not be sitting on a big bunch of money to find ways
Hmm.
to get it done and still be able to contribute while they build their empire.
For sure.
And I love what you said about the fact that it doesn't have to have art.
Yes.
That
Wanted
shouldn't
to,
be a
I think
hindrance.
some folks just need permission.
That's right. Yeah, I really, really, I value that a lot. I think that these are conversations that, for the Age Creators Alliance, we'll be building more around. And some of the speaking of some of the other things that we want to do in the think tank to kind of help folks understand the direction that we're going. There is going to be a membership tier, but it's
Mm.
a very different set of stuff. It's nothing that is existing in the think tank, as it stands right now, for any of the titles. But there is uh, a notion that people who are creating, they've gone through this really valuable process, and they've gotten through the other side, and you who have been able to put together an evolving understanding of your own skills and as it relates to designing and developing a TTRPG using the Age system. I think that there is opportunity for us to host like workshops or salons or just dialogue where people can really sit down and ask questions and get philosophical and have very cordial diplomatic disagreements, but to really open the door on the stuff that we don't really get time to illuminate.
Absolutely. That all
I
sounds great to me. I love that.
Yeah, I'm definitely committed to that. So you were mentioning as far as like the having resources of artists or writers or those sorts of things. We have the ability to create a directory, and I think that if we establish what the baseline information is that we need from folks, either a collage of their work or whatever, a visual representation of who they are, a brief bio with some of their things that you need to be that they're concerned about or that they want to make sure that you understand that they need, and then
Mhm.
make that available in that form. Yeah, Stan, I want a salon too. uh there's also another thing that I think we could facilitate, and that is having a regular uh, run by Green Ronin, but not run by. I would say facilitated by, like almost an accountability club. Like what are you
Mhm.
like? Come today with the problem or the challenge or the obstacle that's ahead of you now, and talk about it with other people who are in the same space doing the same thing. Um, and whether that's like a monthly thing or ad hoc or something, I don't know, something triggers that. But I really do too. When I was noticing you had posted that you had a new release coming, I want to just really, when anyone crosses that threshold, I want to celebrate it in a big way. Like doing things like having the sale, but also just having a space or a venue where that information is amplified across all of the ways that we've got to do that, so social media and that kind of good stuff. But also
Mhm.
just saying like, hey, you just published something, let's schedule a night, and this is all opt-in. This is not, none of this is
Of
obligatory for
course.
anybody who's doing stuff.
Absolutely.
So but the idea being like, hey, come tell us about your thing, and we could record it, and then that could be sort of a an infomercial of sorts, but also some lessons in some opportunity to kind of share new learnings with people. What do you think about that?
I think that sounds lovely. I wouldn't say I know the first thing about setting it up, but I do enjoy the concept.
Well, fortunately for you, I run accountability clubs. For instance, I have a we if on Patreon. I run a weekly meeting. We have over 100 people that are part of the group. They don't all show up at the same time, of course, but it ebbs and flows depending on what's going on, and whenever there's something going on in the greater sort of when the wizards are getting clumsy, the group balloons for discussions because these creators depend mightily on the content that they're creating not being destroyed by the people who make it. You know what I mean? Like the people who
Yeah,
the D&D
fair.
adjacent, I'll say. But yeah, so I think that there is opportunity here, not just to, I mean, I don't need to run another meeting, believe me, but I think that creating the space for that kind of dialogue and really making it so that people can ask questions and not feel like they're on their own toiling, over sort of this manuscript of stuff
Mhm.
when, maybe they're going the path of most resistance. Okay.
Fair.
I appreciate that. There was what else was I going to ask you? I did want to say this. Hey, friends, ThursdAGE is all about the adventure game engine, but it's also about friendship. It's about adventure. It's about gaming. It's all good stuff, and it's free. And all we ask is that you give us a like. Maybe share the stream with your TTRPG pals. Leave a comment. We have two different on YouTube, for example. We have two different comment sections. We have the live chat, which is always fun and always great, and you want to go back and read that stuff if you're on demand, if you're watching this on demand. But you also want to reply under the video. That's a whole different chat area. Ask a question. Make a remark. Tell us what you think about. Maybe you disagree, or maybe you've got an idea that you think would play well in the Atomic Think Tank, or you would like to. Stan, yeah, that's my Achilles heel, where I say I don't need another meeting, but let me suggest another spate of meetings that I can host. Yeah, so friends, your support in that regard, giving us all your thumbs, if where you're at, maybe over on YouTube, I mean on what is it over on Twitch? Is it hearts? Do you give it a heart?
Follows.
It's follows, and
If
then
you're
it's
if you're going in real hard, then it's subs and
yeah,
bits and
yeah. So whatever, if it's a smoochie, we'll take that. Hearty handshake, whatever it may be.
yeah,
But
all of them.
yeah, give them to us, and the algorithm will say, huh. And it's been very helpful so far. So we thank everybody for what they've done. If you're over on Facebook, I do apologize. Facebook has made a bunch of changes to the way that they do video, and so it looks like it works. But then people will say, I can't chat, or, so I want
Hmm.
to encourage those folks hanging out on YouTube, sorry, on Facebook, to head over to YouTube. It's a much easier experience. And we don't want to leave anybody out, for sure. So that's that little sort of give us some
Little
love
PSA.
and a little PSA for helping us tackle the algorithm. So, my friend, where can people find you? Laurel and Hardy handshake, exactly. Where could people find you? What are you prolific on a particular social media platform? Where, if they want to
Um,
ask you more questions, where would they do that?
well, I'm always checking out the Discord, the Green Ronin Discord. If you happen to be part of the Green Ronin Age Appropriate Discord, the Grad,
The
I'm
grad,
usually
yep,
there. You can also, if you happen to be able to find me, I'm usually listed as Cot the Protector. You can feel free to message me. Um,
nice,
I'm of course also on the Atomic Think Tank, so you can reach me
bingo,
there. If you are on Twitter, I'm at gender_fury. Um,
love it.
not necessarily the most brand forward Twitter account, but it's the one I'm running right now.
Hey, yeah,
Um,
good.
yeah, and I post a couple of things there. Usually sharing goofy stuff that I find that I like. Um, and then let's see. I mean, I guess you can find me on Facebook. I don't really touch that one anymore, so I wouldn't recommend it. Um, or at least I don't touch it very much anymore. Um, let's see.
That's good.
Anything else?
That's a very robust network.
Hmm. And of course, you can find my work on Drive Through RPG, and I've got
Head onward to
I've got
through
some,
RPG. Oh, I'm
and of
sorry.
course,
My internet is giving me issues again. Go for
of
it.
course, I was going to say that I've got bigger projects that I got the opportunity to write for that aren't published yet, so I can't necessarily point you to those just yet because they're not real.
I was
I
gonna
mean,
ask how that was going, but yeah,
we wrapped up writing stuff for the adventure that I ran for that I wrote part of for Evil Genius Games for their Kong RPG. Um,
nice.
and yeah, it was featured in the Kickstarter and everything. And the adventure's called oh goodness, I'm thinking of all the adventures that my friends that my coworkers wrote before I came along. Um, Oh goodness!
We'll update
Is
the
part of their
yeah.
legendary package. It's going right alongside their Pacific Rim RPG. The adventure goes with a cool book that's filled with monsters. Um,
Very cool.
and I wrote a thing with Green Ronin that I'm very excited to see it come around.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that. Don't know how much I'm allowed to talk about that. It's been mentioned a couple of times. The Isle of the Pirate Queen, Lost Isle of the Pirate
Oh,
Queen.
that's right. Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
it's coming along.
It's coming along. It absolutely is. The immediate thing folks need to do, like right this very minute, they need to head on over to Drive Through RPG at the link that I'm dropping in chat and pick up Vitath Adventures #4, Gloria House. I'm saying that right? Gloria House?
That's right, Gloria House.
Pick that up, and then I would, I hesitate to say this, but wait to purchase the rest of the library until tomorrow at 9 a.m. Because you will be able to pick it all up at a 30% discount. That's the Vitath Adventure Pass. Your pass to all the adventures that you've got cooking. Listen, my friend, I can't tell you enough how much I appreciate having you on and your ability to, you jumped right in when I needed a hand, and I value that very, very much. Looking forward to some of
Yeah.
the other things we talked about, running some actual plays and stuff, and then maybe even convincing you to host an episode of ThursdAGE of your own. Just
Do
all
you
about you.
did you grab a hold of that piece of art that I sent to you?
Oh yes, I did. I did indeed.
Were you able to get it in here?
Let me. I'm glad that you brought it up because I do have it, and
A
I
sneak
popped it.
preview to the next adventure that I have that I actually have the Word document open for it right now. I am finished writing it. I just need to get the art in there. And I've
There's
tested it a
the.
couple of times. I'm glad how it turned out. Gloria House #4 is an infiltration adventure. And
Ooh,
this next one, #5, the Rubelite Manor Horror, is a spooky adventure.
nice. All right, I'm grabbing it. Let's see, window. There we go.
It was
And
October when I wrote it, I'm pretty sure.
hey, look at that.
You might be dealing with one of these folks. Maybe several of them.
Looking good. I do wonder how wine works out in that setup, but
It's all
uh,
part of the image.
I love it. I love it. Very evocative.
This one's also by my good friend Legally Weil. Uh,
Okay, nice.
they do excellent work, and when I've got the money to pay them for art, I usually do.
Fantastic. And that's kind of how it works out, huh? You kind of find that
Mhm.
art that artist that clicks and gets what you're doing, and a
Oh yeah.
beautiful symbiotic relationship begins, and then everyone gets to eat.
Oh yeah. I mean, if I made enough money off of these, I'd really just be handing the money back around to my artist friends to make more cool art for my next adventure, and then I sell that one, and then it just all goes around in a circle like that.
Yeah, yeah,
That's the
absolutely.
dream.
That is the dream, absolutely. And that is why we'll have more folks. Let's say you are thinking about or you're working on something in for the H Creators Alliance. Let me know. Let me know what you're cooking on. Maybe you're running into some trouble, or maybe you're on the verge of publishing. Let me know so that we can celebrate and amplify and then basically elevate the whole program together. again, my friend, thank you so much. I want to thank chat for hanging out and being so great. We will be back Monday for Mutants and Masterminds Monday. It's going to be a great show. And Devious says truth, justice, and the green running way. Yeah. All right, friends. That is it for today. Got an extra bonus couple minutes too. Aren't we generous?
Aren't we generous?
Very much so. All right. Take care, friends. Have a great rest of your week. Bye.
Bye-bye.